let's talk about anger. Is that something that you experienced?
When my person died, straight away I felt a lot of anger and asking questions like, why me? Why has this got to happen to my family? Which I'm sure is something that a lot of people can relate to. But as I've got older, my anger has channeled into different senses of anger, because now I've accepted the death of my person. It's more anger of, now I'm getting older, why isn't he here for certain milestones? And which is something that I've definitely struggled with the older I've got. But like I say, it's a completely different sense of anger that I felt when they first initially died.
So you're mentioning this anger, but who or what are you directing that anger at, do you think?
I would say when I was younger, I used to blame the healthcare system quite a lot as to why my person died, which I think it was more finding someone to blame. But now I'm older, I wouldn't say I aim it at anyone, it's just anger at the world.
Yeah.
Angry as to, like I say, why me? Why has this happened to my family?
That level of like it being so unfair.
Yeah, it's unfair and it's cruel. But I wouldn't say it's aimed at anyone directly, because it is no one's fault, but just at the world in general.
Yeah, so for you it's changed as you've got older and you're having new experiences as growing into an adult.
Yeah.
And for you that anger then changes with that.
Yeah, definitely. And I find as well on milestones such as anniversaries or birthdays as well, before I used to just feel a sense of sadness, but now it's anger of, we shouldn't even be celebrating those milestones. It shouldn't even be happening. He should be here. I think the older I've got and the more I've accepted the death of my person, obviously that acceptance comes with a lot of relief, I guess, which again has channeled my anger differently. I think when I was younger, it used to be more physical, and I used to, want to lash out on everyone and anyone that I spoke to, but now it's more inwards anger, and I can deal with that in my own ways. I'm learning how to navigate it, and it's different every single time. Any emotions come up, it's different.
Yeah, and that must be almost like quite confusing for you to think, well, what's the anger going to look like the next time it comes? Or what's it going to look like this time?
On any big occasion that comes up, like for example, it was my 20th at the beginning of this year, and I didn't expect to feel the way I felt, and I felt angry that my dad wasn't there for my 20th. I was entering a whole new chapter of my life, and my person wasn't there to see that. Knowing that they'd been there in my teen years, and it was like a whole new beginning almost, and I had a lot of anger on my birthday this year, which is something I hadn't experienced before.
Yeah. So even though you've kind of gone for a few years without your person, your experience of that anger is still changing and still surprising you with time.
Yeah, grief surprises me every day. It's different every single day. And like I say, the feeling of anger is something that can come up unexpectedly. Someone can say something really small and that feeling can be triggered really, really easily. So yeah, it is something I try and navigate differently every day.
Thank you for sharing that with me. I really appreciate you being open and honest about that, because anger is a really hard emotion to feel.
Yeah, definitely.
And almost like you're not allowed to feel that sometimes. So, for you, is that, I guess, something that you tried to hide at any point, or have you always been quite open with your anger?
I found that for the first few years after they died, I did hide my emotions quite a lot.
Yeah.
I've always found that journaling was something that really helped me. So if I did feel angry or upset or anything like that, journaling was something that I always turned to. And also as well, it's obviously a safer way to release your anger, writing down and drawing your emotions.
So you kind of found a way to channel that.
Yeah.
So that you weren't just holding on to it and trying to suppress that anger.
Yeah, and to be fair, that was something that Winston's Wish taught me to do, was to journal and write down my emotions, which was something that I hadn't thought of doing before, which really, really helped. But now I'm older, I am a lot more open with my emotions, which is obviously making it a lot easier to deal with. It's one of those emotions that's hard to control, but I think the older I'm getting, I am learning to control it a lot better. But I've also accepted as well that the older that I'm getting and, the big milestones that come in my life, I know I'm going to feel that emotion in my future. So yeah, it's just learning how to deal with that in the right way.